let's create a table from scratch. So we're gonna, in the beginning, we're gonna use one of the very easy and famous way of creating table. But as I said before in the previous episodes, any function has its own rules. And the function of table, in order not to have any errors, has two main rules. So the first rules, all variables must have the same size. And you can check this in the workspace, okay? The name and the size here. So if we now creating table and we want to like have the inputs of two variables, we have to make sure they matches the same size. Okay. Second thing, all values must have a name. So I cannot just bring any value in a table without having a variable name behind it. So like what I mean variable name, like here last name, I cannot just like remove this and write Nick, Ray, Duke, and then expecting it's gonna be like inserted in a table. But I have to give them a variable name and make an equal. So last names now in my workspace, so it's gonna be make sense with MATLAB to insert it in a table. So those two rules. All variables must have the same size, all values must have a name. Okay, so let's now create variables with names with all the same size. So we're gonna create a lot for sake of practice. And as I said, this very famous way to create any table. And it's very good, to start with. Okay, so curly brackets, which is cell array, which is we said this will be one of the best if you wanna do any text. So let's create last name, something like John, then semicolon, then Michael, semicolon, then neck, semicolon, and as I said, semicolon creates a new row for you. Okay, then Nathan, and maybe like Brown. So as we can see, I have 5 values with this variable called last names. So if I want to create any variable, it must have also 5 values. So in order to match with the size. So right now, if I press run, I have last name, okay, which is 5 multiplied by 1. I have to make sure that when I do write any other variable, all of them must have 5 rows with just 1 column. So I have to make sure at every single time I will put semi comma in order to create for me a new row. So John, new row, Michael, new row, Nick, Nathan, Brown, all of this semicolon creates a new row. So this is the first variable. What if I want to specify like something like ages? So ages, it's numbers, and we said in the previous episodes that numbers is best with open brackets, and same concept, 5 variables. So 23, maybe 25, 33, 35, and 45, and comma. And I have to keep this in mind that 23 will matches John, and 25 will matches Michael, 33 will matches Nick, and 35 will matches Nathan, and 45 like it's all matches. The first position will match the first position in another variable and third variable. So all the first position will be related to each other, all the second position will be related to each other, and so on. Okay, so far so good. Let's keep going. Let's try something like athlete, and let's use something like logical. So logical, convert values to logicals. Logicals here means binary, one and zeros. One and zero is basically, without going to any further explanation because it's very mathematical depend, but one and zero is just like basically true or false. So one is true. So if I press like I open brackets and I open like matrices, and now he expect 1 and 0. So if I press 1, then semicolon 0, then semicolon maybe 1 1 0, close the bracket. Okay, so right now 1. So yeah, John is athlete, so I will put 1. Michael is not athlete, I put 0. Nick is athlete, 1. Nathan is athlete, so 1. Brown is not athlete, 0. So it's like positive and negative. If John is athlete, so it's positive, so it will be 1. If Michael is not athlete, it will be negative, so it's gonna be 0. We can change, or we can use this. It's very helpful. We can use this in different variables. Like we can put smoking, we can put like 4.0 GPA. Anything that needs true or false, we can use logical function with it. Okay. And as we can make a comment here, it's binary systems 0 and 1s. Okay. Let's create something like height. As I said, it's numbers, so it will make sense with brackets. Let's create weight. Same thing, it's numbers, so same procedures. So 87, 99, 100, 80, 69. Okay, so if we press run right now, I want you guys to realize that all has the same size. Any variable we wrote here, all has the same size. So let's try to clear all to make this obvious for you guys. And now let's press run. All of them has the same size spontaneously. Okay. Now let's create something like date time. So date time gonna be critical here. So date, because it need a specific format. So we open a matrices and we're gonna use date time at every single thing. So we kind applying what we learned earlier in the episode using date time but in a table. So let's use a character. So you guys remember the same format. So day, okay, month, year, 2014. Okay, this closed. Then new row, same sequence, date time, okay, character, maybe 24 October but 2015, same sequence. I must, as I said, I must have 5 values per each variable. Okay, so comma 24 October 2026. October, but let's go farther, 2027. Last one, because this is the 5th one, right? So date time 24 October 2028. Please, please, all of you guys, make sure that you do apply this as we go, step by step, because you guys don't know how picky is programming in like writing a like different letter, or like instead of capital small. We mentioned this before, but I just like emphasize on this because this goes long way in your learning process. So right now I have a date, and if I want to see this in the command window, I have all the 5 dates simultaneously in front of me. Okay, let's create the last variable, which is blood type. It's a lot of variable, but I choose this in order for you guys to actually like practice the difference between string and numbers, or maybe date time, to insert whatever, like any values you want, and all of this will give you confidence to create table on your own. So let's create like different blood types. So I did a mistake right now. Should be semicolon, right? Creating a new row. Semicolon A I'm not sure how accurate the blood types are, but let's create this. Let's assume there is a blood type called A. Okay. And now we have a new variable called blood type. Okay, so after I did specify all my variables, let's now create the table, but let's review our table rules. So as we said, for any table to be created, we have to every values has a name under the variable, and it must be all have the same size. So right now when I look in my command workspace, all of them 5 multiplied by 1, so no errors should be appeared. So now let's create just a table. So equal, what's the function for table? Just table. Table array with named variables that contain different types. He sets his first rule. Table arrays with named variables that contain different types. The second rule, all of them must have the same size. So let's try this. Okay, so first we want to have the last name, and it's crucial because I do have two last names, but which one? The one that matches the rest of them, which is 5 multiplied by 1, 5 rows with 1 column. So last names, then maybe ages, athlete, height, blood type, and finally date. And as I said, all of them has the blue color, the light blue color, which is give me confidence that I'm on the right track, and all of them matches the previous variables that I did specify in my workspace. Okay, so moment of truth. Okay, let's see. Here we go, that's beautiful. Okay, so it creates for me 5 rows with 6 columns because I have 6 different variables. All of them creates a table for me, last names, ages, athlete, height, blood type, and date. And if I want to see this in the workspace, so right now, if I press same thing, last name, ages, athlete, height, blood type, and date, you can create this for whatever columns you want, whatever rows you want, and it's very like famous way, and also like it's very important, as we said, like how we said how you can create date, blood type, which is string, numbers, true or false. Like we I just did choose to create different data type to make you guys very comfortable of like doing different options or different stuff to be more creative in doing your own table. Okay, now let's try a different option in tables. So what if I wanna have row names and I wanna give name for every row? Like I wanna have here specific name, second name, third name, fourth name. How I can do this? So as I said, we can press option here and we can see row names. And row names, he expect names out of this. So I have already last name, and I must have 5 names because I do have 5 rows. So 5 names, a name per row. So what if I wanted the row names to be John the first row, Michael second, Nick third, Nathan fourth? How we can do this? As I said, like this an option is called row names. And if you want to do this, it's gonna be looks like. Okay, so okay, so let's, it just might take time. Okay, let's see this in the command window, and here we go. So I have John, Michael, Nick, Nathan, Brown. So run section might like sometimes take time in order to actually process. Like if you quick editing through your lines, it might not actually like catches until like you have to clear all the variables and like just make sure to highlight it. So here we go. As we said, like row names, it's all last names. So John first row, Michael second row, Nick, Nathan, Brown. You can choose different names, you can create your own names, but for the sake of time, I just choose the last names. So this is very helpful also, like if you wanna like maybe dates, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of all the same data. You can like adjust it as you want.